What's up, guys? Horror Man here. So I want to start off by saying thank you so much for everyone that watched my 1989 Batman Mezco 112 Collective review. Really appreciate the likes and comments on that. The review ran a little bit longer, but so did the wait time for getting the figure. You wait 3 years plus for a figure, you want to make sure you don't miss anything. Now, of course, I did miss something, so I want to make sure I make that up to you guys. The one thing I was really confused on was that grapple gun and the belt, or at least the grapple gun onto the belt. And then a few of you really love those comparisons, and I really love those too. So I'm going to go ahead and do a few more comparisons, ones that I didn't do. So let's go ahead and get to it, and let's start off by taking a look at how to attach the weapons to the belt. So I think the one issue I had with this figure and why I couldn't get this to magnetize to the belt is because I'm using this magnet to hold the cape back, and I think that when I went to put it on, it must have pushed it away or something, because I thought I knew where to put this. It just wouldn't stick, so that could have been part of the reason. But since then I have figured out how to get it on there, again with some help of you guys. So once you pull this cape back, you can see how you can actually magnetize the grapple gun right onto the belt. And once you get it on there, it does stay on there pretty well. Now, it's not a super strong magnet, so it does have a little bit of play to it, so if you bump it just a little bit, it's going to move on you. So I kind of have the hook kind of was pointed away from that rubber suit because I don't want any tears in it or anything. Now this has to be on just like that. It will not magnify to the other side, and there's no other spot on this belt that's magnetic. It has to be right there. And it, like I said, it does hold really well. Now there's one other really cool thing about this. So if you don't want the fully assembled grapple gun on there, you can actually put the one that's basically broken into two pieces, which is actually how he stores it on his belt. But if you remember the scene with him and Vicky Vale kind of escaping from Joker's thugs, and you see him assemble, and it looks just like this when it slides out from his belt. He just puts it together, shoots up the grapple hook, and then he attaches it again to his belt and kind of glides, or at least attempts to glide to safety. So I really like that you could store it on here just like that. And that's probably the way I'm going to store it on here. I just think it looks a bit more accurate to the movie. But yeah, man, once you get it on here, it does look really good. And I think it does add to just the display options and, again, just a little bit more movie accuracy to the character. And then one other one that you can get on this belt if you really want to. It's not technically supposed to be on here, probably, but you can actually get the Batarang with that metal wire to stay on there, and you could probably make it look pretty cool. The actual magnet is just, of course, the metal wire, and it's not in the Batarang itself, so none of the other Batarangs will stick to that belt. Alright, so on to some of the comparisons that I missed. I did a lot of comparisons, so I just wanted to show you a few more that you might like. So here he is with the NECA Toyz Christian Bale Batman Begins Batman, and then also the DC Collectibles Batman the Animated Series Batman. Now, of course, you could see that the Christian Bale NECA version is much taller, and the Animated Series one is just a little too small. And then for a couple more Christian Bale Batman comparisons, here is the SH Figuarts Dark Knight Rises Batman, and then the Batman Begins Batman made by Mafex. Now I did have this one in my review, but I wanted to put him in here with the Figuarts to kind of get you an idea of the height. The Figuarts one's definitely too small. This one's it's a good height. It's just that the proportions are kind of small on that figure, so I would say he's probably a little too small to scale with the Mezco one as well. Here he is with the Mezco 112 Doc Nocturnal, and their capes are really similar. They are actually a lot closer than I thought they were, especially with the texture. And then the Lim Toys Leon S. Kennedy or RPD officer, whatever you want to call him. But they look pretty good next to each other. Here he is with a couple more Mezco 112s. You have the John Wick, and then the Black Mask. Now, Black Mask came in a set with a Batman, but I think they look really good next to each other. I could definitely see Black Mask in one of those old Tim Burton Batman movies. And for the last Mezco comparison, here he is next to the 112 Collective Michael Myers, based on the Halloween 1978 movie, and then the classic Nosferatu, based on a very, very, very old movie. But again, they look really cool, scaled together. You can see that Myers is just a little bit taller than Batman, which I do like. So you got a lot of options if you have a fair amount of Mezco figures. Alright, and for the final comparison, here he is next to the Hot Toys Batman Returns Batman figure. Now, unfortunately, I don't have the 1989 version, so that's why I didn't include it in my original review of the figure. But I figured it's a Hot Toys Batman from that same era, so I really should include it. And I want to show you guys some of the differences. Now, of course, this suit is definitely different than the 89 Batman, but there are some things that were the same in both movies. For one, you notice you don't have all that texturing on this suit, and you have a lot of that texturing in this suit. Now, there is some texture on parts of that 89 suit, but not all this. It's almost so textured that it's like Spawn from the movie Spawn. Like, that suit was really like organic, and it kind of has that feel to this Mezco version. So yeah, they went a little overboard, I think, with the texturing, and with that kind of chalkiness left on the suit, it kind of like, I don't know, it makes it stand out even more. But another thing I really like on this Hot Toys version is the cape lays really nice, and it does have a wire to it, so you can manipulate the cape a little bit if you want. But overall, it just really lays nice on here, so I really like that too. But they're both really cool figures, and of course they serve a different purpose in your collection. So if you're interested in getting that 89 Batman coming out by Hot Toys, I would highly recommend it. Another thing I mentioned in the review is that this, underneath this suit, which is a much thinner rubber suit, is a fully articulated body. So it's an action figure underneath. This is an armature. It's completely different. So it's a very thick rubber suit with metal. So it's more like a stop motion puppet. So definitely a huge difference between these. I know a lot of people like to compare the two, but they're actually a lot different. The most that these have in common is that they have that eye rolling movement in one of the head sculpts. That's probably the most they have in common. Aside from that, there's really not that much in common between the figures. So thanks for watching this quick update regarding my Mezco 89 Batman review. Again, sorry I missed a couple of these things on my full-length review. If you haven't watched it yet, I highly recommend it if you're interested in buying this figure, or if you just really like the 89 Batman. It's definitely a very thorough review, and it kind of gives you an idea of, what you're getting into if you do, actually buy this figure, or if you're still waiting on yours to arrive from Mezco. I do really love the figure. I do have my gripes, but I think the magnetic ability definitely adds some really cool display options, which is always nice to switch up your shelf a little bit. I definitely like the ability for the magnet. I think they could have went a little farther with having other items connect to it, but it's definitely more movie accurate with the grapple gun, so I'm pretty happy with it. So again, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, go ahead and like. If you have a comment or question, go ahead and leave it in the section below. And until next time, guys, see ya.